made that much
Oh, hey. Well, why every fucking week. Um, Welcome to issue 575 of Geek in the City on Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Aron Duran.
Oh, we should have picked a specific number for the final episode. I'm one of your other hosts, Bean Rita.
And I am your other host, Cable Hashitani. What?
It does have one. It's 557.
But no, but like only because that's the next number in the order.
All right.
I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, what if we had picked our own
Five-
special number?
What we would have picked?
Sorry,
1701.
I started reading Sex Criminals, and so I know that they, even though they only went like 20 something issues, the final issue is numbered to 69. So
Nice.
that must be
I was thinking of that too.
exactly.
When you're like,
See?
we should pick a number, I'm like, I know one.
That's not the number I would have picked.
What
But
would you have picked?
I don't know.
86, because we're
1701.
getting kicked out of the pod.
There we go. Episode 860 of Geek in the City Radio.
Yeah.
It's too late to change it now, right?
Too late now.
Yeah,
I mean-
okay.
I
Well,
mean,
I mean, 575 has a not unpleasant ring to it, I
it's
suppose.
that's a big plane, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. Golden age of flight.
Those days are gone.
And- oh yeah, they are. Now
Ugh.
it's just a fucking cable call, like. "Brrr."
You know how weird it was to spend like 24 hours plane traveling and like not think about
Yeah.
death and dying,
All of that.
fiery
All of the
crashes.
things.
What?
I just traveled
Oh,
on
that's right.
planes.
And then I guess like
Yeah.
America doesn't have the best track record on flying.
Not these days.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
24 hours.
I mean, not constant flying,
Is
but
it a big
the
layover?
journey was, yeah, 8-hour layover in Frankfurt on the way out, which was magical. I've never been to Germany either, so
Really?
now I can say I have. Stopping in the airport, between flights to the Middle East does not count.
Spending an hour in Rammstein Air Base doesn't quite count.
Yeah, no, it does not.
Right. Yeah, that's the bummer about
Because
it.
I was also still 19 and they wouldn't let me drink. Yeah, yeah. No,
Because you were Army.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
Because you were American. And therefore, well, I mean,
and the
when-
legal drinking age in Germany is like 16.
Yes. But you are, at the time that you were in the military, you were the property of the United States government. And heretofore, what's the word I'm looking for? Fuck words. They're dumb.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I know where you're going.
Yeah.
right.
But here's the thing: anyone who was over 21 was allowed to drink, so it wasn't and it was only ever one beer. Everyone was allowed to have one beer while we were waiting for our plane to be refueled in Rammstein.
Fun beer?
Oh, is it because you were
Eine.
on,
Eine Beer.
Yes,
but you were technically on U.S. soil at Rammstein, right? So like those laws apply. Is that how it works?
I don't know, but like,
'Cause
here's
last
the
time
thing.
I was 13
you're-
in Germany and they got me ripped.
again, they were only letting anyone have one beer anyway. So it's not like I was going to get wasted on my way to the war. And moreover, I'm like, I was active duty military. You motherfuckers know I get ripped every weekend, right?
Sure.
And then someone legally distinct from me may or may not have gotten drunk all the time underage in a war zone. So I guess joke's on them.
Warzone don't count.
That was pretty tough.
How did we end up here?
I don't know. You wanted a different number, and then 24 hours, fiery death, plane.
Planes,
First time you
drinking in
spent.
Germany. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
there you go.
cool,
We're
cool,
back
cool.
to it. Well, y'all, this is the final fucking episode after 20 years of, 20 years for me of yammering on a microphone.
And
Like 10,
10
for you,
years
right?
for me. And Cable, almost 10 years.
Almost.
I mean, if
This
you
would be
factor in
year
Accidental
8.
Housewives. you
Accidental Housewives guest appearances over.
go- say 10.
years.
So together, 40 years.
I don't care about those other shows, though. I only care about this show that you do with us.
Sure.
Together, 40 years of good enough.
Our parents would be so proud.
I mean, Oh, I'm not going down that road right now. My sister and I were rage texting each other all afternoon, not at each other, but so I don't need to open up that can of bucket. No, as in I'm not gonna never mind. Yeah, so we got some folks hanging out in the waiting room already that want to just hang out and join us.
Yeah, right
So
on.
let's go ahead and let them in.
Yeah, what could
Admit
possibly
all.
go wrong?
Finding out that this part won't work. I mean, that's, actually that would be a bummer.
Oh my god, we didn't test it, did we?
Hell no, we didn't. Why should
Awesome,
anything
awesome. We are
change?
so good at this. We're seasoned professionals.
We just need one of them to talk.
Yeah, Michael, talk.
Hi, everybody. It's Shandy Ring.
And look at that, it works.
Yay! I was very excited. You saw.
Yeah. How's it going, buddy?
End of an era. That's how it's going.
Yeah, well, we were inspired by you leaving the comics industry.
Okay. That's some legacy I've left, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah, it's big. Yeah, no.
I'll just hold the door open for you. You guys can exit quickly and quietly.
Very good. That's all that matters.
Quickly and quietly.
So we were kind of joking via text yesterday because I posted the picture up where I blatantly ripped off MASH. That I guess Denise saw, and she's like, "So, we got any plans for tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, this is the one time that we intentionally didn't have any planning. So I don't know, I guess we're just gonna hang out, talk, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best not to cry. Who wants to take a bet that I do?"
Oh, I'm sure somewhere out there there's a whole board with like timestamps. And everyone's betting on just like the timestamp of when it happens.
What?
There's some Vegas bookies taking it like, all right, here we go. Who can make our own cry? Look, the only one who cries more on microphone is probably Kevin Smith. Who I blatantly tried to get to join again last night.
Like
to be a guest.
Right. No, I understand. I just like, I mean, like, good on you for trying. But I'm like, oh, maybe it would have worked, but if we'd done it sooner, so like, who knows what he's doing tonight? He's a big Hollywood guy.
I mean, who knows? I mean, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do one last throw it to the wind. I'm like, after 20 years, we're saying goodbye. My only regret is that I never got that Kevin Smith to come on, the only member of the Askew universe who has not popped on to Geek in the City Radio. So yeah. Yeah, but who knows? I guess I gotta let Norm in again.
So yeah, it looks like we lost him.
Yeah. Well, it's because I don't know why.
Texas.
So yeah, this is what we're doing. It's weird. Like I get asked, like, how's it feel? I'm like, I don't know. Weird. This has been the month of official endings.
Right.
Yeah, because last week, 2 weeks ago, that I am officially divorced.
Oh, you got your stamped.
I got the judgment. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks. It was a lot less formal. I was kind of thinking it would be like pages and pages, and it's literally like a single page, like put in an envelope.
Oh, everything that matters is right there on the top.
Yeah, and since neither of us were trying for anything, it's like no support, no prop, da 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 da. And it was like, okay, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
There's still some things that I have to do, which I'm not gonna go over here, obviously. But
yeah, it is remarkably unremarkable.
Yeah, I guess I just spent too much time believing Hollywood, where like they meet together in the courthouse, and there's always that. You sure you want to do this? There's no going back. Are you sure?
I mean,
I guess
typically there are hearings and stuff, but most people don't go through all of that because that requires lawyers or you're representing yourself, and it's just a lot of it's just a lot of paperwork.
There was a lot of paperwork that was really confusing on my end, especially like the initial paperwork. And then I promise we won't talk about this anymore. Well, because like I didn't know what to do. I was like, is this my 30-day notice of a divorce paper being served? Or is it this? And every time I just needed to talk to a lawyer, they're like, all right, we'll book the time. I'm $500 an hour. I'm like, I literally just need you to tell me, what is this?
Oh, you should have come to me. I'm a damn pro.
So I will say this, and it's not stepping out of turn. You know who ended up um, helping me with the process so I didn't screw any paperwork up?
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Huh?
Kevin
What?
Smith.
Kevin
Kevin
Smith.
Smith. That's right. God damn it.
Kevin Smith's never been divorced.
Oh, he
You
has.
used up your one shot. It was either the divorce or Geek in the City. You chose.
Walt Flanagan's dog. No, it
You
was,
tell him, Steve Dave.
tell him. Yeah, nice.
I was gonna guess Ida because she's familiar with court documents.
You know, I could have done that in retrospect, maybe, but you know,
It didn't occur to you.
no. You know who wound up helping me was Jen's attorney, because I would reply to the emails he'd send to both of us, and then I'd send him like a separate one, and I'm like, hey, I know this is weird, but what do I do with this? And he's like, hey, how about you call me tomorrow at 10 and we'll talk about it? I'm like, okay. And he was always like, I can't give you advice because I'm representing, you know,
The other party.
The other party. I said, I get that. I just want to know, like, do I sign this one? He's like, no, that's the intent. You'll get one later that you're going to sign. Just read that now to see if you have any suggestions. And I'm like reading it in real time. I'm like, no. He's like, well, okay, you probably shouldn't have said that to me, but I mean, okay. All right, I'll send you the real one. I'm like, is that the one I signed? I have 30 days to sign. And he's like, yeah. And then that'll start the process and we'll go back and forth. And I'm like, what should I look for? And he's like, well, I can't. He's like, I really can't give you that much advice because I'm representing the other party. And I'm like, yeah, man, I know. I was like, here's the thing. I can't afford, like, every attorney I talk to wants a minimum of 1 hour. And all I need to know is, like, do I sign here? And he's like, yeah, that's where you sign, man. I'm like, thank you, insert name. You've been a real help. She picked a really cool lawyer. He's like, well, thanks, man.
That's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
It would have
know
been better if he would have billed her for that.
No, that careful. Literally part of the decree is not to say anything. But I felt like this story was safe to tell because it's very stupid on my part.
Also, it's done. So.
And it's done, right? It's just very dumb on my part to be like, look I can't even figure that out on my own.
Oh fuck, what was I gonna say? There it is. I know that we were joking earlier about how you just need to be liked and loved. Like you need a human attention.
Jesus, Denise, I didn't know I was.
We were joking and you said it. Let me get to the end of the thing before you react.
Here comes the tears.
So we were joking about how you just need people to like you.
Yes.
But clearly you have enough riz, as the kids say, that someone whose job is to work for someone who's basically working against you.
Well, okay.
You got that person to help you out.
I mean, maybe
they either have like an extreme amount of goodness in their heart, or
like
you charmed him.
Or he was like, look at this fucking idiot. Look at this Mark.
This poor son
Whatever
of a
my
bitch.
client wants is gonna get because he's just called me up being, or what do I do now?
Do you think he's
You know what? Let's move on.
In this case, it's probably D, all of the above.
Yeah, that's right.
If it's multiple choice, it's D, all of the above.
Yeah,
but do you think he's on a Zoom call right now with all of his lawyer buddies, be like, and then this guy, I tell him to call me, and he calls me.
He's like, hey, this idiot does a show. Let's see if we can find him. Anyway, it's done. Much like this show.
Way to bring it back around, buddy.
Well, you know, hey, I'm a professional, 20 years. And that's not counting terrestrial radio, which is about a quarter of my life has been in front of a microphone in one form or another. And I'm not done doing microphone shit. I don't think any of us are done doing microphone shit.
I think for a while.
I mean, for a while or something. I don't know. Cable's done. Cable's done with all of our foolishness and shenanigans.
He's never going to be in a room with the two of us again.
No, he's like, fucking hey, just the Usaki game and that's it.
Oh, that's right. We have a game together.
Yeah.
You're just stuck with us, Cable.
you both have very interesting perspectives on what you think I think of you.
I'm
See-
just matching his energy right now,
I see.
which has been like my vibe for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I've just been along for the ride, man. This was always like in my mind. This was always your show.
yeah,
Not
but I never wanted that.
no. I mean, I'm mostly kidding. Obviously, you brought me onto the show because I had things to say that you thought people would find interesting, and those were not your thoughts. Those were my thoughts.
Yes.
About my thoughts to
I-
your thoughts.
Oh man.
Now we're going full on
okay, right.
Vulcan.
That's
lines now.
that comes
Yep.
back. I know.
That was very
That's
good.
right. That's right.
Because that's why I started
Yeah.
on this. Okay. Um.
Why are you looking at
I don't know.
me?
I'm trying to think of something. Okay, well, here's the funny thing when you're like, you guys have different views about how I view you. Here's the other horrible part. Yes, why am I like making a point with talk about fire sauce?
Yeah. What are you doing with that?
I don't know. Yes, I do need to be loved.
Mhm.
Man, I got shit to talk about my therapist in a couple weeks again.
I am not
but
going
here's
to
the other
pretend
thing.
for a second that this show has not also been therapy
Right.
for every single one of us.
That's true. And like
Past,
I said,
present, and future.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and listen to old episodes about like, what was I thinking that kid?
And not just us, but also some listeners.
Yes.
That, you know what, that is true. I don't know. Did you guys ever get like emails or messages but like, hey, thanks?
No, nobody talks to me
No.
because I'm a bitch. But I know, for example, Norm, glorious Norm here in the chat, who admitted to us years ago that he changed his perspective on a lot of things because of things that we discussed on this show. We made Norm a better person, y'all.
You know what? That's kind of cool. I'll take that.
It's
Isn't that
been
what-
beyond cool, and I can't thank y'all enough for A, becoming friends, B, offering a different perspective, because it's very easy for me to be locked into those things, especially where I live and how I consume media now. And for y'all to have, for me to have been listening to y'all for so long, it's been a net benefit in my life. And y'all have opened up new avenues and new things for me to explore in my life. And even though right now I've been going through a major event with the loss of my mom,
Sorry about that.
it's being able to come home and listen to y'all for these final times it's been helpful. And I'm honored that y'all have allowed me to become a friend and an acquaintance, someone who you know from the state of Texas that isn't a a walking cliche, or what the media represents us as, or just the complete and utter asshole, which yet again, multiple choice D, probably all of the above.
I mean, Norm, I only know three. And
My light went out.
it's
All right, here we go.
Texas-
Global light.
It's that Texas power grid, man. It's your
Aw.
freedom power.
Abbott's
Uh,
man.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I
God.
only really know three Texans. I know you, Katie, and then Taffeta.
Oh,
So
see, that's
That's
good
it.
company.
yeah.
Oh
no,
yeah, me
pretty good.
too. Not Taffeta though.
No.
I've never met her. But
We like to get along.
one of my old army buddies.
That's
She's
cool.
an awesome cosplayer.
My friend,
Your army buddy or Taffeta?
Taffeta.
Yes. Okay. I wasn't sure.
my friend Scout and her wife Caitlin moved to Texas.
Oh, that's true.
in
So then I know
2020.
four Texans.
Yep.
Excellent.
Uh,
And that's it. No more good people in Texas. Just those six that
See,
we.
that's- and that's like
No,
I
no.
think Norm brings up a very good point in that we are sold a vision of what everyone else is like. And this has been an opportunity for all of us to get to know people. This is the thing that we lack. I'm sorry, I'm going to get political in our last episode.
One last time.
One, well, last time this publicly, yes. Um,
One last ride.
that
No, no, no,
like
no, no, no.
that's part and parcel of why we are where we are at is we have stopped looking at each other as people that have shit that we're all going through, and we largely listen to what we are told that they are based on any number of factoids. That being said, fascists are still fascists, and I will punch a Nazi.
Yes.
But like there are ways to fix things, and it just takes work and maybe some Molotov cocktails. A lot of those.
A lot of her. I'm looking at it in the chat also on Twitch. Apparently, we've converted a lot of conservatives.
Yes. I was just, I believe that's Kevin,
Yeah.
who says we were a big part of their conservative reprogramming.
That's right.
That's homicidal fire cow to you
Right.
non-friends of Kevin.
Yeah. It's like in Tron when Tron touches one of the red bad guys and he's like, he could put his blue energy into him.
Yeah, that wasn't Tron. That was Flynn.
Flynn. Oh, that's
Because
right. Because
Flynn's
he's
a user.
That's right. I forgot.
But yes, it is like that because
That's right.
that's they wanted to get to know you, to know us, to know everyone who's been a part of Geek in the City, and that's the step forward. It's like when you actively want to get to know a person, you make the choice to become curious about them and curious about why they think the things that they do, they believe the things that they do, and sometimes you can change people's minds. Sorry, I'm also having a moment of like I am hearing other people's words coming out of my mouth, and it's gonna make me emotionally and mentally uncomfortable.
Whose words are those?
I'm not gonna do my therapy on air.
Okay.
Oh, aren't you good for therapy on air?
No, I'm likely to cry as well, but we're no, nope.
The real trick is if we can get Denise to cry.
I have no need or desire to make Denise cry.
I didn't say I wanted to. I don't, because if things are getting so emotional, being that you start crying, I will be a blithering idiot.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
If I'm emotional,
I'm
he's
gone.
he's a wreck.
I'm a wreck.
So then that's not good. That's not good radio.
But you are emotional. You're an emotional person. We
If I allow
we have a harder time regulating our emotions. You don't.
Yes.
regulating or suppressing.
Do you do suppression rather than regulation?
Yes.
I presume that you know how to regulate your emotions.
No.
I'm generalizing in that men don't know how to regulate their emotions. They suppress them.
Right. Well, I'm Latina.
Okay.
So
What?
The nickname wasn't a giveaway ring.
That's right.
and
From the
and we
angle,
don't.
from the
I
angle.
mean, I really kind of didn't see it, but okay. I'm
But
not
now
the
that you
most
pointed
observant
out, How
person.
did we never notice?
I mean, come on.
Everyone just thought I really liked legumes. It's not
And
that.
Sailor Moon.
And Sailor Moon.
Well, that's not
Yeah, but that's not a Latina
thing.
thing.
Could be.
Although Mexicans do love Dragon Ball, but I know it's not the same.
I don't
thing.
get Dragon
I
Ball.
don't get it either.
Not Dragon
I-
Ball Z anyway,
Oh,
which is the
shit,
one.
I'm sorry.
Regular Dragon Ball is adorable.
Oh,
That's with the little baby Goku riding around on a cloud, and he's
Original-
collecting the little Dragon Balls. Yeah.
Yeah, original Dragon Ball was tight.
Dragon Ball Z is
I-
it takes 18 episodes to have one fight,
Yeah. And
which is why there's 472 episodes.
thinking about, was it the Dragon Balls again? Or
To
something
be
different?
the best
At what?
around, and nothing's ever gonna get them down. Oh no, I'm doing crossover with other animated series. This is it. This is the show.
yeah. No, I mean that's fine.
This is all the show has been.
All the show has ever been. It's fine.
Rather than talk.
Yes, emotions. I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah, you'll get none from me, sir.
I know that's fine.
All right.
That's what I was saying. It's like I'm Latina. Like you get angry and neutral.
I mean, I feel like being like
Nope.
Latino. I don't, because I know the typical like machismo Latino is you get angry or you get quiet.
Well, angry is the next step after, or quiet is the next step after angry.
Okay.
It's the same thing, but so extreme that like nothing's coming out anymore. You're in
Right.
real danger if there's
That's true.
silence.
Okay. Because I feel like I regulate my anger pretty well. It's everything else I cannot regulate. Like if you get me like a good ad and I'll start crying. Like certain commercials, they'll get me. Or like fucking, oh my god. So you know what gets me? That there's like a few video trends that see, if I start talking about it too much, I'll start crying.
Do it.
So
Talk.
around Christmas, the thing that was really getting me were adults getting toys they couldn't afford or their parents couldn't afford when they were kids. I was Niagara Falls. Like those hit me more than like soldiers coming home and their dog seeing them for the first time in 3 years, which also is really effective. The other one that gets me are adult Star Wars fans seeing the Millennium Falcon and Galaxy's Edge for the first time. That gets me too.
Huh.
Yeah, so always tied into childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not go down that road anymore.
See, again,
No.
there in no small part has the show been
That's
a
right.
certain amount of therapy.
What are fun memories of the show we can reminisce at? Well, hey, Michael, you want to say something?
Can I say something real quick?
You
Oh,
can say
yeah.
it anytime.
I need to bounce pretty quick in a couple
shit.
minutes because, so get this, my daughter, I have to go pick her up from work. They are 17 years old now. So
Cable quit.
that's
Yeah.
something.
No,
But I just want to say thank you. I want to thank
man.
you, Aaron. First of all, because you walked into Bridge City Comics 8 years ago and you wrote a
long
review,
time ago.
and it was the first time anybody had ever written a review of the shop, and it was a very nice review. And you and I had struck up a friendship, and you had me on the show a number of times, and each time was great. It was a lot of fun. I value you as a friend and as a human being, and I wish I had more hours in the day so I could properly show you that. But thank you for the past 20 years of it.
Well, I have freed up 2 hours every other Tuesday now.
Exactly.
And aren't you retired now, Ring?
I'm not retired.
Doesn't own a shop anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm still doing stuff here and there. Doing
Look at all those nerd shit back there. And those are shipping boxes at the back there.
You've gone behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I want to
be the new diamond.
Cable and Denise, I have lived through several iterations of this show, and the two of you have brought it to new heights. Your perspectives, your fandoms, your thoughts, your feelings have added wonderful layers to the show and to the product that, and I hate to call it a product, but you know what I'm saying. What you guys have added, what you two have added to this has been immeasurable. It's been wonderful. I love you both. Cable, I have known you for a very long time. A very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I remain more fond of you than I think you probably will ever know. Denise, you and I have had a shorter relationship, but you have always brought joy into my heart whenever I've seen you. Whenever we've seen each other at the shop or at events, or the few times I've done the show with you on it. I am very, very lucky to count the three of you as people that I've had a relationship with for a very long time. You have, all three of you have had an impact on me in some way. Some of you in many ways. And Norm, Courtney, I've only met you a couple of times, but I've always had fun. I remember a cookout at Aaron's house once, meeting you
Yeah.
in person, and that was fun.
Oh, was that cookout?
I think it was that.
That cookout.
Yep.
The I am one
Yeah.
horse and the horse is with me cookout.
Oh, that one.
It was fine.
Yeah. It was fine.
So anyway, I got to get going, but I just wanted to stop in. I wanted to thank you guys for everything you've done over the years. For me personally, for the community in Portland, for the broader community. You guys are all fantastic, and please know, if I can ever do anything for you. I don't think Denise has my number, but you can get it from Cable or from Aaron.
I think they do actually.
Yeah, unless you changed it.
No, you just texted me a couple days ago.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. Then she should. If not, she knows a couple guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry. When I need you, I will track you down, Ring.
I'm not.
I love
Ooh,
the.
that sounded like a threat.
I know, man. I will find you.
it's a
and
warning.
I will kill you.
Always a warning.
I have a very particular set of skills.
That's right. Well, yeah. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah,
It's-
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You almost got me. I almost teared. I mean, they were on the edges.
Should I tell you a story about my dead cat and what he meant to me after 19 years?
No.
No, but I don't think it would affect me as much as my other hosts.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. But I appreciate the effort.
My cat just turned 17. We're not talking about
See.
aged
Yeah.
pets.
Think of something funny, Michael.
Shandy Ring signing off. Remember, NBC Thursdays at 8 in the summer. All right. Love you guys.
I love you too. Good night. Oh.
Of course it's a summer show.
Hmm?
Shandy Ring. Of course it's a summer show.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Um
That's what you watch when the Rockford Files are on reruns.
I'll remind you, she gained a pound.
no, she's doing great.
Her coat is slick and shiny.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
No, she's very healthy for her
She
age.
still jumps like a kitten. I did catch her running around the kitchen like a maniac one evening. She was just like, "Meow, meow," and like
She just had the
she
probably
had the
had just
zoomies.
she probably had just pooped.
Probably.
I think the same way.
Everybody does.
Everybody does.
Everyone does. No one talks about
Because
it.
you feel so light afterwards.
Yeah, it's
you
like,
know?
oh, I just lost 5 pounds.
Especially if you have a little bit
No, now it's gross.
You're refreshed. Homicidal Fire Cow pointed something out that I kind of forgot way back in the day. Was Cable Nine defending the sexiness of a young Shatner to Denise?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
I remember also the Trek episode where you went, "Oh, now I kind of get it."
I don't remember that either. I'm not saying those things didn't happen. The first one definitely sounds true.
Mhm.
The second one, yeah, I'll buy it.
I noticed something that Bex has posted.
Mhm.
Uh,
I thought that's the one you were gonna bring up.
like
Oh,
I know that I wasn't available for that episode, but I did listen, and it was quite good, and it was quite
That one
needed.
must have scrolled up on me. Which one?
I gotcha. Bex
Bex
says
is
that
the warlock.
she still thinks about the episode we did during the BLM protests, and Sean Wynn came on for that.
I appreciate that this show will end, and there will be no further explanation of Bex's username. I will take it to my grave.
Oh, is that? Do you know what it is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. But you're taking it to your grave.
Yes.
I
Do
will.
we both know and have forgotten?
No.
No, he says he's taking it to the grave.
Yeah.
You saucy little minx.
I mean, there are ways to figure it out, but you have to know what to search out and what to listen to, what to view. And I'm in the know, and like I enjoy sharing that tiny little thing with Bex,
All right,
a
well,
person I have never met in person. I don't think.
You might have run into her at a convention,
maybe.
in passing.
Or at Guardian.
No,
Back in the day. No?
Convention's more likely.
the at Guardian, the rule was if you were a listener of the show, you don't get to leave the store and just stare at me awkwardly. You have to come up and say hello.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I will look at you like you are a loss prevention threat. Like, this
'Cause you're
guy's giving
just-
me the hairy eyeball the entire time, so I'm just going to stand here
Yeah.
in all 5'6" of intimidation that I have, which I get. Like, I throw off a different height for people. Like,
You
I
also-
had a coworker like last week ask me, it's like, it's like, you're taller than me. Can you help me with this? I'm like, I'm an inch shorter than you are. I don't know what you're talking about. And they looked at me for a long time and went, oh, wait, why did I think you were taller? Because I have a big ego.
Sheer animal magnetism.
That's right. You can give off a look of keep pushing it, I will end you.
Oh yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
Like, that's I 100% get that from my dad, and my grandfather. That is some ancient Japanese samurai mojo going on. That's what that look is. Like, I've seen that
Right.
in the mirror. I'm like, oh, that's okay. That's what people are talking about. Cool.
I really see it when you dress as Ronin back in your pirate days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Bean, did you ever see like Cable as Ronin?
Yes.
He wears that
Oh,
for
yeah.
the Ren fairs.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But you're much more laid back at Ren fairs.
It's because I'm not. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not guarding anyone, but that's still not
The
true
Ren
either.
the Ren fair Ronin is a laid back version.
Yes. Yeah, pirate. When he was on the pirate.
Yeah, he's off duty.
His bit is that he protected the captain, and Cable would be in character so well that if someone just approached the captain, say they're interacting with somebody at an event, and if someone just came up to the captain to like, oh, whatever, Cable would step in front of him and he would pull. You just had a what are the wooden swords called? Bokon?
I did not have a Vulcan at that time. I had a sword, and so the thing that samurai do.
Oh, he would do the thumb.
Yeah, you do the thumb
Mm-hmm.
to press it out, so it makes it the release of the sword that much faster.
There were so many times someone would come up to like bother the captain or whatever. No, they're just having fun.
Right.
Cable's in character so well. He would step in front of the captain and do the thumb thing, so part of it comes out, and he would just go and glare at them. And they would like back off. Sometimes the captain would be like, "It's okay, Ronan, it's okay," and he'd be like, "Hi." He would just stand there. It was intense, man.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the move, but I've never seen Cable do it. So.
That's because I also don't carry a sword at Ren fairs because
Right.
it's cumbersome.
Yeah.
Also, I think they don't like that.
I mean, everyone else is carrying.
Yeah, they don't even make them peace tie, do they?
No, it's cumbersome, and I'm not actually going to be doing any sword fighting, and I'm there to like eat a turkey leg and
Drink mead.
drink mead.
Mm-hmm. Turkey legs and mead.
Yum.
Yum.
It's almost that
I mean,
time.
it truly is that does signify spring. The Ren Fair,
That's
The Ren
right.
fair.
meat
well,
and turkey legs.
Ours,
I mean,
ours are in the summer.
Yeah, ours are in June and July are the ones that we usually hit. Although eventually, someday, I would like to go to the medieval city of Camlin. Hang on, I have it. I don't know
Camelot?
why I'm trying to remember it.
That's
Camlin.
going to take more than a weekend.
The Camlin. Oh, well, I didn't mean to do that. Stop doing that. I almost did that over top our Twitch channel. So CAMLANN.org, Camlin Medieval Village is a living history museum. It's up in Washington.
Carnation.
Oh, that's cute.
Like, my friend Kelsey is the one that told me about this place, and it looks really cool. It's a whole thing.
That is cool.
Oh, they have an All Hallows Feast. Nope.
So-
nope. Oh,
nope.
why am I looking at anything in October? I know I don't do anything in October except scare people professionally. Anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Let's
But-
just pass Seattle.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
Huzzah.
I mean, I don't know what I want to. I know what I want to do.
Hmm.
I want to say I know it's Florida, but I really want to go to the Dark Universe Park. I keep seeing videos of it, and it looks
Oh, like Universal?
yeah, the Epic Universe.
Orlando isn't.
Orlando's just one giant theme park, basically.
Yeah, the theme parks of Orlando are not Florida.
Right.
10 miles outside of Orlando is Florida.
Right.
Mm.
It just looks so. It looks fucking amazing.
I'm sure it does, but like that, understand the difference. Like Florida is Florida,
Hmm.
but the theme parks of Orlando are a separate fucking universe. Like they just are.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know.
I mean,
It's
they're
like-
already like the size of a city, right?
Yeah. Like I could say I've been to LA, but I've really just been to Universal Studios.
Sure.
Mm.
Yeah. I've never been to any Universal studio, like ever, to any of them.
That's shocking.
I know, right? It kind of is, but I've never been to one. I'd love to do horror nights. I really want to do that one year.
If you
But-
get off Disney's dick and spread the love around.
Well,
How many times have you been to Disney?
I like it. I like Disney's dick. It's fulfilling for me. It's
Okay.
like coming home.
It's nice. It's comforting.
That's right.
Please
It doesn't
stop.
ask too. It
Please
doesn't
stop.
ask too much of me. It tastes like a churro.
Please stop. I mean, I know this is my fault. I did this, but
Yes.
but
I'll be
please-
there in
please
actually
make
a
it stop.
month. I'll be there in a
I know.
month. So will Ryan. We will both be enjoying Disney's dick.
And you'll be back there again less than a year later.
Ooh, delicious churro.
Voice from the
I was wondering if Ryan was going to say anything. immediately.
No, he's just got his weird Star Wars character
Mm.
hanging out there. Yeah, well, that epic universe, they also do like the fan nights. Like they have like a Star Trek fan night where like they build sets and you hang out. They have a D&D fan night where they like create the fucking yawning portal. They're just going all out over there. So it looks cool. And I want to go on the Donkey Kong ride in the Nintendo Land. The Donkey Kong Country ride.
I've heard the Nintendo Land's like amazing, but you got to
That's-
spend a lot of coin.
Yeah. Well,
And but I've heard that like the augmented reality experience is like really like what is selling people on that
Yeah.
Nintendo Land.
and that Donkey Kong Country ride, they have the track set up so it feels like, just like in the game, like you're jumping the mine cars, like you're jumping the tracks the way it's set up. It looks really cool. I
I-
just won't go to Wizarding World. I won't.
I didn't
you know.
realize that Nintendo World was part of the Universal
Mhm.
family of parks.
Yeah, it's Dark Universe, Nintendo Land, or whatever. How to Train Your Dragon, Wizarding World, and then their own original like fantasy park.
Yeah, I won't go to
I
Wizarding
won't go
World.
to Wizarding World.
And
They get no more of my money.
No.
But bringing it back around to Bex's thing, because we
Yeah.
didn't finish. We didn't
Sorry.
finish reading it. Mostly, I just want to like clap ourselves on the shoulder here. BLM protest. Sean Wynn came on and talked about stuff. And Beck says it was important. It was an important conversation, and we did not shy away from it.
It's true, you did not.
I feel like we never really shied away from. I feel like there were times where we were like, let's not talk about it because we were just all feeling it. So sometimes the show was like an escape, but I feel like we never really shied away from like difficult conversations. I don't think we did.
There was definitely a period where I don't want to say we were a much more serious show because let's be real, we've never been a serious show. But we, I guess for lack of a better way of putting it, like we were much more socially, we were more vocal about social awareness. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah.
But now it's 2025 and everyone's just tired.
so tired.
So
So
tired.
tired.
So tired.
But I am going to miss having this platform to talk about important things.
Yeah, I will too. Like, I won't. I know for a while we would like review films or talk about trailers and stuff, but it just got to where there were so many other pop culture shows. A lot of them like bankrolled by studios or whatever, and I feel like all of us just got tired of like, why are we trying to chase that?
Mm-hmm.
And
And spending our own money to do it.
yeah, spending our money to do it because like they stopped doing screener viewings. Unless you live in LA and you became an influencer and stuff like that, they just like I feel like the main film reviewer for like the Willamette and the Oregonian still get them, but they might only just get them like streamed, like the way we got to watch Monarch.
Yeah, no, that
You
is
know.
the go-to
Yeah.
format nowadays, but
Right.
I don't know how people get on those lists anymore.
You know a guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
or you spend years making content specifically like focus on one thing. So the
Mhm.
studios are like, look how many views they get. Let's send them a VIP package and fly them down to the red carpet or whatever. Um,
Yeah, I'll use Trek as an example since we spend a lot of time talking about Trek. Like, we're not the only podcast that talks about Trek. There's so many other Treks. But how do you beat Paramount paying for an official Star Trek podcast
With cast members.
with cast members as the hosts
Mhm.
right.
who get the interviews with people that nobody else can get?
Yeah. Ever.
And
Talking
they have
about fucking-
they have relationships, so it's a much more candid conversation
Yep.
than one might otherwise get also. So like yeah, the exclusivity and the what's the word? Not informality, but the
It's all the Trek actors, no matter what show they were on, they all have a shorthand. They've all been.
the
I mean, this
shorthand.
is a weird
that's a good
analogy,
way.
but it's the same way that like I can on concept understand what it's like to be in the military, but I never served. I don't have the shorthand. I can't give like you can give like a look to like our friend like Diana or Prime, and they know exactly what you mean. I don't.
Mhm.
I can kind of, but I've never done it.
Right.
It's the same thing with like, that's how like I do listen to was it the Escape Pod, the Enterprise podcast with it's really fun
Um,
with uh,
Shuttlepod 1.
yeah, it's a fun show. And even though they primarily focus on Enterprise, they will have other actors from every show, and they still have a shorthand. They know exactly what it's like. They know what it's like when it's going to be a 16. They just know. Um,
Yeah,
and
because even if they didn't work together, they are alumni of the same institution.
They've all served in Starfleet.
right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, what are we looking for all these like uh similes and metaphors when that's it right
They
there.
have all served in Starfleet.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like for a while we kind of had that with comics folks.
Mm-hmm.
The one I feel like the one I don't know if it's a drawback or the danger with that, and it's something we've talked about. And if there were more shows, we could bring it up again. Um, the comic industry is notoriously thin-skinned with the longest memories. So you couldn't really do super deep conversations because it was like, well, we might piss off so and so.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And I can't afford to piss off so and so, or you can't afford to piss off so and so. But also but really like one of my fondest memories of the show now is the stuff we did in the last year with Anastasia. I still want to find a way for us to do something with her or even just fucking hang out with her. Like that was a real kind of joy working with her and having her on and hanging out with her.
I think largely that came from the fact that it was unexpected and we
Right.
made a genuine connection through it. Like, our friends in town are the ones that introduced us. And that was it's like, oh, wait, this is, she was looking for something. She was looking for another outlet.
Right.
Like, it is one thing to be part of the Elfman family and have that level of notoriety and celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
But she is also an artist and performer who is always looking for her own thing, the thing that is where she gets to talk about what she wants to,
Yeah.
and really focus on what her art is.
Mhm.
And
not just that, but also her thing that she's passionate about.
yeah,
Right. Because I
and
like. Go ahead. Sorry.
well, I was just going to say we were looking for we were always looking for something new. We were
Mhm.
always looking to, like,
Spice things up in
not exactly,
the studio.
not innovate, but we are like, we want something that interests us.
Mhm.
That's what's kept us going so as long as we have been, because we find things that keep us interested in the show. And what we what we gave her was an opportunity. Like, we just said yes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that would be great. We should do more stuff together. That was all she needed.
Yeah.
Like, and we saw her when she needed to be seen, and I think that is, if this show is going to have any sort of legacy, I think that throughout its history, throughout its us and its other hosts have at some point in time seen someone when they needed to be seen, and gave them a platform when they needed a platform, and allowed them to say what they needed to say to more than just their circle of friends. And that that's the thing that I think, if anything, that I'm going to take away from Geek in the City is we moved the needle. And not us. We didn't do it. We offered the opportunity to others who would help do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. One thing I'm always going to be proud of with the show is I feel like, for better or worse, we never chased trends. We just wanted to have, when we had guests on, or even just ourselves, we just kind of wanted to talk about what we were passionate about,
Mhm.
or what they were passionate about. And I'll be honest, for a long time, I used to lament the fact that it felt like a lot of the times the people we had on, especially as we'd have them on right in the beginning of whatever they were doing,
Mhm.
um, that they would surpass us.
Mhm.
They got bigger, and we didn't. And I don't mean that to sound negative, but there was a long time where I felt internally resentful of that. Of like, hey, we had on so and so, and now they have 3 titles under 2 publishers. Um, but in the end, oh, shit, I'll make it.
You don't have to.
In the end, that was always the show's goal. The show's goal was to highlight people and things that maybe were never going to get the attention going through traditional media pathways. They just weren't.
Mhm.
The fucking blog started because I got tired of the Willamette and the Oregonian only covering the same 4 art events in the city over and over and over again. Um,
That's platforming.
yeah,
And
that's the thing.
and it's hard to be a platform and then also be platformed. Like, not everyone's going to be the next Fresh Air.
Right.
Uh there's only one Fresh Air.
There's only one The Moth or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm. Um but not us not being like a bigger name in the pop culture zeitgeist, or in the world of podcasting, doesn't diminish the raising up that we contributed to the culture.
Yeah. I think every once in a while the 3 of us would sit down and think about, like, what can we do to get more eyes on the show. And yes, our schedules, that always made it hard, but I think in the end, those things never really worked, and we always would then come back to cable would be like, hey, this person came in a Guardian and they have this tiny game company. Do you want to have them on? Or meeting, what was that witch theater we saw at the Ghosts of Summer? Who were there?
Yep.
Like them. Like they were never going to reach out to a podcast.
Which something theater? Which was it?
I would say Witch Light.
I know. I
that's
just
a
I can
D&D
only
adventure.
get.
But yeah, we know what we're talking about. They had that great, yeah. Like, no show, I don't mean this as a dig on them, but like no show was just going to reach out to them because they weren't known beyond a very small niche horror community. And we're like, this is cool. Do you want to be on the show? And now, and like what, almost a year later, one of them is a writer on a like an award-winning short film, weren't they? The car film.
You're conflating some
Oh,
different
well,
folks.
okay, but
But
yeah,
however, like the point still, yes, your point is still there. That is, we were seeking out new life and new civilizations.
oh god,
Boldly go.
yeah, and maybe in a weird way, maybe that's why in a weird way that the few times we did have a big name on as a guest, it didn't really work.
Witch Hunt.
Thank you.
Witch
Thank you.
Hunt
Witch
Theater.
Theater.
They moved
And-
back east.
Right. And I'm not saying we had bad interviews with kind of higher profile people. But in the end, for me personally, it always felt kind of mercenary in that maybe this will get more subscribers to us. We have this name.
Mm.
And in the end, those were always my least favorite interviews. And I realized I opened the show being like, never had Kevin Smith.
But you love Kevin Smith.
It
It's
would've
not.
just
It's
been a
not
con-
about
it
what
would've
a
just been a
fake name he
conversation.
is or isn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that just would have been a nerdy conversation.
Mm-hmm. And what you're saying is like those are the ones that mattered more to you. The ones where like it's something that we're passionate about, or like we see that they're trying to do something new or cool that people can really appreciate, and we want to highlight that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like even a few years ago when you had your workout instructor on.
Robin.
Robin,
Mhm.
yeah, that was cool. Who the fuck was going to have, I don't mean this as a dig on them, like who's going to have a Portland fitness instructor on their pop culture show?
Oh, my friends. Sorry,
Yeah, wasn't that, oh no, we had
No,
Robin, the geek workout.
yes,
Yeah,
Geek Girl Strong.
that was cool too.
Yeah, she's like a fully independent, like fitness professional now, health and fitness.
Yeah.
No, that's my friend Carolyn, and that was just, that wasn't. She doesn't even actively train people these days. Pandemic's been a lot, and she's actually
Right.
she's moving away soon. But she came on because we thought it would be fun to talk about how to stay fit during the lockdown.
That's right. I should have paid attention more to that.
You just forgot.
Or
It was a while. It was like 5.5 years ago.
No, I mean taking better care of myself during the lockdown. That's what I meant. Maybe I wouldn't have had it. Well, I still would have had a stroke. Hey, that was something else that happened on the show.
Yep.
I almost
Literally.
died.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah, good times.
Mm.
I still tell that story when people ask, like, what happened? I still tell the story about how I felt, and then literally saying on mic, with my luck, you guys all saw me have a little stroke.
That was,
During an interview for Witch Hunt.
yeah. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I couldn't get technology to work.
Mhm, mhm.
My forever bane of existence. It's annoying that I can still walk into a radio station, do it all, but I realize it's because they have engineers. And if audio's not working, you hit a button, and a guy that never leaves a basement comes out, smelling of 2-day-old community pizza, and they fix it, and then they go back to their. See, it's a radio joke. Then they go back.
Is
to
this
their
community property?
community property? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know where we were going with that. But that I guess that's
It's been a good show,
it has been a
and we've done good things with it.
It
Yeah.
has, and if I may expound upon this, I wouldn't have stuck around listening as long as I have if y'all's passion for telling other people about that local stuff, while yes, I couldn't attend most of the events that y'all were talking about, I still was interested in hearing it
Sure.
because I have a natural curiosity. I always want to know what's over the horizon. It's part of being a photographer. You want to go out, you want to see, you want to listen, you want to do.
Right.
And I got that from y'all. And it basically it kept me hooked. Y'all hooked me for however many years I've been here. I don't know how long. But it's it's been amazing to hear that from y'all. And it gave me it gave me hope that this world is better than how we perceive it to be.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No
All
problem.
right, let's move to something a little less sentimental. 'Cause
Okay.
I can feel the boys getting
You shut up.
misty over
shut up.
here. Um,
Okay,
maybe
go on. What's
maybe that I'm just trying to figure out how to word it. Because maybe you don't have an answer right now, but maybe hopefully you've thought about it a little bit.
Sure.
Um, what do you think your next projects might be?
Um,
And they don't have to be like for the public necessarily. They could just be like, I'm going to take up this new hobby, you know?
I mean, I want to be able to get back to writing, and we talked about it before we were on the air, the problems I'm having. And I frankly don't want to hash that shit on the air. It's not that it's bad, it's just, it's a lot of woe is me, and everyone's going through woe is me right now. I, I will, I will look forward to, even though we kind of got this show down to a science in terms of how much time we spent. I remember when I first started this, even especially when it was the Film Fever radio days. I shit you all not. It took me 5 hours to edit the show.
How
First,
long was the show?
it was about an hour and a half. Scott and I would go about an hour and a half. But also, there was no podcasting software then.
Mm,
There was maybe a version of Adobe's whatever their audio editing used to be, but you had to have like $2,000. It was like radio stations bought it.
mm-hmm.
So like I've said this before, like Scott and I used to record this show on fucking iMovie.
Right.
And then I'd isolate the audio and edit it that way, you know. Whereas now I edit this show damn near in my sleep. It takes me 10 minutes from sit down to upload.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it doesn't take a lot of time now, but it still took time and mental energy from me.
Mm-hmm.
It would be, oh, we got to do the show in 2 days. I got to start thinking about that. So it will free some of that up. I hope that's the plan. Um, I don't. I know things I want to do. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if they will. Like I have a goofy little business idea. I've kind of hinted at the show. It involves candle making. Even though I said I never wanted to turn my hobby into a side hustle, it won't feel like a side hustle. It'll just kind of feel like this fun thing I do.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like, okay, I like making this thing and I have fun doing it, but like I can only gift my friends so many candles.
That's exactly it.
Right.
I can only give you all candles so often, and if I can turn it into something that allows me to buy more candle making
So
shit,
yeah, at least if you can at least get it to pay for itself.
yeah, yeah, and it's a fun idea. I've ran it past a couple people, and they're like, "That's actually a really cool idea." I don't know if it'll work, but who knows? And I guess I can say it here. It's not a big deal. So
You're making it feel like a big deal.
I know I am, and I shouldn't be. You guys have heard me on the show. I've talked about. I love the idea of opening a little candle shop where you come in and I'll have candles that are RPG inspired or whatever,
Mhm.
fragrances or whatever.
Mhm.
Kind of like what Cantrip Candle does, but on a much smaller personal scale.
Mm-hmm.
And the other idea is I would have like you would kind of like you and your friends will go to like pottery, painting, and wine drinking. Same idea. It's make your own custom fragrance based on what you think your player character smells like. I know it's weird, but like, whatever. Um, but then the other thing that hit me, and I was like, it might be fun is to write like either D&D 5e, SRD content, or system agnostic little one shots that don't take more than 4 hours. And then there is a candle whose fragrance is inspired by that adventure. So if it's a urban apocalyptic adventure, the aromas are like, you know, smoke and rain. Or if it takes place in like a fey realm, well then it's this and it's this, and you're meant to light the candle while you're playing this one shot with your friends, and you just sell them these cute little packages.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fun. So that's one thing I'm going to try to do. I want to try to get back to writing more, get back to novels. I've kind of cashed out on comics. Not saying I wouldn't do it, but
I think there's a lot more autonomy in novels.
there is. And I'm tired of being frustrated by an industry that is painfully in flux right now. I know that publishing's not sunshine and roses either, but it's better than comics right now.
Mhm.
From my experience. I'm sure other people's are having a grand old time, and I'm super happy for them.
I mean, you have self-published more novels than comics.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. And you know what? I have full control of The Last Bruja. Maybe Volume 2 is going to end up being a novel. I don't know. So, I guess that's what I have planned. What about you guys?
I asked, I get to go last.
Well played.
I don't know that I have a concise answer.
You just went for like 10 minutes.
There's a shock. I talked a lot.
It doesn't have to be concise. It doesn't have to be like firm plans. It can even just be things that you've thought about doing.
I can't lie. I don't know if either one of you are really aware of this. I can't lie. I can act, but I can't lie. I don't. I have talked about on the show before my retirement goal, which is cat cafe, RPGs, food cart adjacent of Reuben-esque, the all Reuben sandwiches food cart.
Ask Brian and Lisa Wood if you do it, if you can use their Reuben-esque sandwich too.
Yes, I would. Like
Nice.
There would be at least 5 different versions of the Reuben sandwich.
Oh man,
there would be the classic. There would be the Rachel, which is turkey pastrami instead of beef pastrami.
Mm-hmm.
There would be the koi fusion Reuben, which is made with kimchi instead of sauerkraut, and you also use bulgogi beef along with pastrami. It is magical. I've had it 2 or 3 times. They don't serve it anymore. Anyway, I would want to figure out a gluten-free vegan Reuben.
Sure.
Because I feel like that would be a fun challenge. All the while, the cat cafe is there where people can enjoy a pastry, some coffee, the company of a cat that needs a home, and spend 4 hours pretending to be a wizard in D&D or whatever RPG. Like, seriously, there's a need for community spaces. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt myself for a second to do a quick PSA. For those of you who love board games, go buy 5 fucking board games from your local game store right fucking now.
Oh, while they can afford it.
While they're open. The likelihood that they are all going to close before the end of this year, if this tariff bullshit sticks, is soberingly high. I don't even work in the game industry anymore, and I know that this is happening.
I know of so many games that were either just launched or Kickstarter, or they were about to, and they canceled it. They ran the numbers, and they're like,
it's the difference of there are distributors emailing game stores right now going, here's the reality. If our shipment shows up this week, great. It's the price that we told you. If it shows up in 2 weeks, add another $150 to every copy of the fucking game. Go support your local game store now. If you can buy one game, buy one game. If you go, there are like 6 games that I've always wanted to have in my library. Go buy them right now. You're going to do yourself a favor. You are going to give moral support to the game industry, the retail game industry, when they need it the most. Which we will be doing next week when we go to Battleground to go do the thing.
Oh,
For the game that we played
it's like,
together.
wait, well, I knew that. I was like, wait, are we
Yeah.
doing something else that I forgot about? Yes.
No, we're
Yes,
we're
I-
going to support Steve because we love Steve. Yet
Oh, yeah.
another person who we have given a platform for
Yeah.
multiple times because
Really
we
quick
believe
before
in
I
what we do.
forget, also, and we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Fire Cow pointed it out. Thielen is still making music, so go follow him on Bandcamp. He
Yep.
is not on social media. You can find him on LinkedIn. I know. Well, because he does a lot of professional coding.
Sign up for his newsletter.
Yeah.
Get his newsletter. He will tell you exactly where to go.
And he's been cranking out a
If you
fuck
piss him
ton of
off,
music.
he's definitely going to tell you where to go.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, go back.
So thank you for interrupting my interruption, and I now uninterrupt myself to go back to. So that's the retirement plan. Gaming cafe, cats, Reuben sandwiches. But for me to bridge the gap from here to there, I have to figure out who the fuck I am and what the fuck I want. Because I don't know. I've spent most of my time existing as the public persona of cable for 2 decades. And that's not who I am. I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am if I'm not providing a service and being useful to people. And so, yeah, I have to figure that out.
That is a good and important project for yourself, Cable.
My next project is me.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah, no, I love that answer.
It's taken the last 5 years to figure that out.
Some people never do, so.
Right. I
What's
had
not
the
my-
luxury of being gainfully unemployed during the pandemic, where I spent a lot of time by myself and learned how much I enjoy it and how many interests I have. And I hope I aim to spend more time on those interests. I have this whole room dedicated to my interests, and a basement.
Which, thank you, by the way, for letting us
Oh, yeah.
be here.
Yeah. I'm glad it worked out for us. Like what's the point of having all this house if you're not going to use it? So I hope to get back into pottery, and that way this guy's got somewhere to pour his candles into for his little candle shop.
I think that'll be fun. We start off with a couple of witchy craft shows.
Yeah.
I do look forward to that a lot, actually.
I've lately been obsessed with my planner and making stickers for my planner, and the sewing. The sewing continues. So I have lots of hobbies that I will have a little more time for. Cable and I think I've always had it the easiest in terms of how much time the show takes from us, which is a rude way of saying it, but I'm just not wording great right now.
Maybe.
Okay, maybe just me. But
I think about it a lot.
yes.
Like the logistics of the show, I think about a lot, and then I feel bad for not getting on top of it or ahead of it.
Yes.
Regularly.
That's what Adderall is supposed to help with, but sometimes even that's not enough. Thank you for posting about the show this weekend, for example. My one job. The thing that I'm not sure about is I don't have a public persona like you guys outside of this show. There is not a public version of Bean without Geek in the City. And That did, and then that didn't used to be true because I had the pirates thing for a while, um, and so I think that's going to be weird, and I almost feel like I want to fill that slot back up with something public, but do I really, or is it just because it's different and change is hard? Like I could do a newsletter or something. About what? Just like what I do with my free time?
I mean, who knows?
You manage one for someone already. You know how much work that is.
Yeah.
I do know how much work that is. Yeah.
I used to write 2 of them a month on top of running a gallery and working a full-time job.
Boy.
How the fuck did I eventually farmed it off to other people who wanted to do that, but
I mean,
I think I did that for a solid 2 years.
you know why you were able to do it?
Because the world
Honestly,
wasn't always on fire,
yeah,
and
it
so you
was-
weren't always exhausted already.
It was legit easier. I know it was still hard work, but I think about, like, I wrote a, the bulk of what I wrote. Granted, I had the support of my then partner on a financial level, and it gave me some freedom. But I was still doing this show, working full time as a manager at TFA when I wrote the first Grizzlydale book. And even though I feel like it wasn't my best writing, I'm still proud of it. All of La Brujeria, I wrote all of that while still putting in like 60 hours a week in terms of work. But the world wasn't on fire.
That's true. There's also one other thing that is something to realistically take into consideration, and
Is it social media?
that was also 15 to 20 years ago, and we were younger people.
Yeah.
Like, I still do a lot for a 53-year-old, but I have now carved myself down to one job. I only work one job, and once the podcast is done, I have no other outside commitments.
Until Halloween rolls around.
I've have to cut back on that too, because I did that last year, and
That's too much.
I suffered for it. My work suffered for it in both places. I have reached out to them and said I can do weekends, and that is pretty much it. So I don't know what kind of job would be offered coming back. Like, I hope I can come back to Scaregrounds. I would love to.
You'll go back. They'll be glad to have you.
But again, that gets into my perception of what I think other people's perception of me is not their actual perception.
No, that's fair.
So
I get it. Yeah.
yes, they probably think I'm great. I think that they think I'm making shit up.
Also, real quick, I just
Yeah.
want to like circle back real quick and just point out that like only one job should be the norm. Unless you really love all of the jobs you have and you want to be doing them all, no matter what it costs you physically or mentally or emotionally.
Or all three.
One job is supposed to be the norm.
Right.
D, all of the above,
Mhm.
as Norm would say.
Yes.
You have one job, man. One job.
I mean, yes, I think I've been the most vocally anti-capitalist among us.
Yeah.
Yes, you are absolutely right. One job should be plenty, because we should also be getting universal basic income.
I mean, that's technically what minimum wage is supposed to mimic. I don't know. It's the closest we were ever going to get. It was close enough for like 5 minutes, and it hasn't been in like 20 years.
Longer.
Longer.
Longer than that.
Longer.
I don't think we have had an accurate hike in wages since the 80s.
Yeah, I think the
Oh.
last time you could
Maybe
live
the
off
70s.
minimum wage was maybe 1970, 71.
As outside of like when I was in high school and lived with my parents, I've never had a minimum wage job, and yet most of my adult life I have struggled financially.
Yeah.
And that's fucking bullshit.
Because in order for us to survive, in order for an average person to survive, your minimum wage should equal $100,000 a year.
which
in the
is
current economy.
ridiculous. But that's a whole nother conversation.
I mean, if wages kept up with the price of goods and services, this would not be a problem. But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
And now we have tariff wars. So like I, for example,
Woohoo!
like am finally only now at age 41, like feeling like this past year or so, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I have money enough to do things and not stress too much about how it's all going to pan out.
You're making beyond
Surprise!
enough to survive.
yes.
Yeah, it's not. I am comfortable saying we, as a household make more than enough to survive on. We're not just surviving with our finances. Um, and now tariff wars.
Yep.
Yeah, when I first started at Travel Portland,
Excuse me.
same thing. I made enough to cover all my bills, everything to survive, with a little bit left over every month that I could go out and enjoy myself with friends, or maybe save up for a couple months. And like last year, I went and played with Disney's Dick on my birthday. So, um, and part of that was a personal thing. I think I talked about it a little bit. I wanted to make sure going to Disneyland was such an integral part of mine and my ex's relationship. We enjoyed it together.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to make sure I could do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I had a great time. I had a couple moments where I was like, I'm sad and alone. Like usually at night in the hotel room, and I had no one else to like chat about. Like tomorrow we're gonna do this, do this. But as a whole, I had a fucking blast. And actually, if you're a Disney fan, I highly encourage going to the park at least once solo. It's a lot of fun, actually. It's pretty cool. Plus, you can get all the single rider rides. Anyway, but that lasted like a year before everything got more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And even before the tariff wars, it was like it was rough, and now I've got to the point to where, like you guys both know, I tried to budget myself to where if I lost my freelance marketing job, I'd be fine. I am not there anymore. If I lose my freelance marketing job, I'm in deep trouble, like deep trouble.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time like mathing out
Oh,
what you needed to earn
yeah,
so that you would be fine
yeah,
should the marketing thing go.
yeah. Because like I had to. I'll forever be gracious and grateful for letting me live with you and Christian for as long as I did. Um, and even though when I got this job, you were like, stay longer, save up, I was like, I got to get out. And it wasn't because I don't want to be around them anymore. I just felt like a loser.
Mm.
I just, because, well, never mind. I can't go into it on the air. Suffice to say,
It can be hard going from one lifestyle that it is indicative of being an adult into a lifestyle that is more commonly associated with like being a kid, basically.
yeah. I was the living embodiment of the IKEA song, which I laugh even more at now when I hear it. It is funny. So I think kind of going back to what you asked me about, like, what do you want to do now? You know what I want to not do anymore? I don't want to hustle anymore. And that's not the same as I don't want to put in the work. It's very different. I will put in the work. I enjoy putting in the work. I truly, truly do. I don't want to hustle anymore. And there were times that running the show felt like I had to hustle. We had to get more listeners. We had to find a way to monetize it more.
We had to get more guests.
Yeah, and because also 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, you could run and upload a podcast for like $10 a month. And that is fucking gone now as corporations learn how to monetize it.
Mm-hmm. What did you say Podbean is? Like $400?
It costs me about $320 if I pay annually. Plus,
so that's a discounted.
Yeah, plus Zoom was $15 a month. Um, hosting became more like it all. The companies realized, oh, even though this digital ether costs us nothing, we can charge them. They started creating gates. Podcasting used to be the Wild West, for better or worse. And they put up roadblocks so they could monetize it.
Yep.
And it required a hustle culture. And I don't want to do that anymore.
No, I feel that because a couple of years ago I was before the pandemic I was all about girl bossing and shit, and now I couldn't want anything less.
Yeah, in the end, I just want to turn into a fucking hobbit.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, don't talk to me. It's time for tea and books.
Yeah, I'll toil the earth. I'll make the beer. All hard. That's like I said. I like the work, but there ain't no fucking side hustling hobbits. You know.
Nope.
No.
You know.
I know. Katie and I have turned into like we go out occasionally with friends, but now we come home. I have gotten her interested in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Nice.
She loves DS9. I did not expect this to happen this year. I onboarded her to Star Trek with Lower Decks. Then we rewatched TNG, but we started at season 3, so where it got good.
Season
And
2
now,
man, I'll just say you should.
and now we are in DS9, and the Cardassians just joined the Dominion. That's where we are.
It's just getting real.
My feelings are a little bit hurt, Norm, though, because I didn't hear you make any mention of Trecucation.
I have been mentioning those to her, but her podcast, our podcast consumption has gone down. Y'all have remained. I still listen to y'all.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
One more time.
But I'm also kind of regretting it because I'm going to be the guy that mentions another podcast on a podcast, so it's just infinite podcast holes going all the way down.
Perception.
We listen to Knowledge Fight,
Oh,
which is in the sphere of Behind the Bastards, but it's two comedians that verbally judo Alex Jones, and there is nothing better to listen to that when you're having a down day is to find the episodes that they actually came to Texas and went to the court hearings that Alex was at. They interviewed the Texas lawyer, and then he gave them, after the decision came down for Alex, they gave him the depositions, and you just listen to this guy absolutely outfox and outmaneuver that guy. If Kitty's having a bad day, she comes home, we'll cook, we'll listen to that show, and I guarantee she's laughing, and then she goes, I want to watch Star Trek.
Nice.
So someone asked any suggestions for similar that we would possibly pass the torch to. I don't know. I have podcasts that I enjoy.
I don't listen to other pop culture podcasts. I listen to other podcasts.
Right.
And so like I can say, yeah, Behind the Bastards, like Norm mentioned, is a really humorous way to learn more about history.
It is.
And now in more recent years, it's really turned into less history, more like current events.
Right. Yeah, the Bastards are becoming more recent in history
Yes.
as opposed to let's talk about King Leopold,
Right, because
Yeah.
the tag used to be like the stories you don't know about the worst people in history or something along those lines, and it's less that now.
Yeah. I enjoy some of Kevin Smith's podcasts. I enjoy Fat Man Beyond. I think he and Mark Bernardin have a really, really great rapport. And also, I really enjoy it when Mark Bernardin kind of does a deep dive in breaking down a story. I enjoy that. He does that really well. I like his other one, Hollywood Babylon, because it's like what we do, but more vulgar. I have kind of fallen in love with Beardless Dickless Me, the show he does with his daughter.
I just got an ad for that.
It's ridiculous.
My most favorite podcast these days is called Ologies with Allie Ward. She's on TV. She has had various shows, so she's like a Hollywood person, but she's not a Hollywood type. She's like really down to earth and really charming and really smart, but she's not a scientist. She's an actor basically. But her entire show is bringing on scientists to talk about their ology, whether it's
Oh,
geology or volcanology.
I I know her because she has popped on Star Trek podcasts to talk when they do a sciencey episode. So
Wow.
that's how that name's familiar.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised that she's never mentioned that
Or I'm confusing her,
in
which is
her.
also
Is she kind of a redhead?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
What was her name again?
Allie Ward. Allie with one L.
There's a podcast I like called Lateral. It's a British show. It's essentially a nerdy game show. It's like it'll like it's like usually it's like three comedians plus the host, and they each bring like a question that you got to figure out what it means. And like one of them is like, how did in whatever this 1970 1980 Olympic Games, um, why did this one German swimmer swim the longest and fastest but still lose? And you got to figure out why. And they go back and like that's a very specific example. It's because he lost his sense of direction. So he was going in circles when everyone else was going straight.
I was gonna guess that. Not circles, but that he went the wrong way.
Like one of them was like, how come? Why? What was it? In this tiny like village in England, they're like, why were the police pulling over more yellow cars than red cars and then blue cars? Like, why was that happening? And they were like, does the color attract more? Da da da. Does this all the way stuff like that? And like, what it turned out being is that the cops in this tiny like English village were big fans of the game of snooker, and the balls are those colors, and those balls are worth more points because they're harder to hit. So they started ticketing. So they started competing. They started playing snooker, but with people's cars, and they got in trouble, and they had to apologize, and people got their money. So that's what the show's like, kind of thing. And because I just enjoy random trivia shit like that. So
I don't actively listen to podcasts right now. I don't know why I fell off. Uh, the last podcasts that I was listening to were a lot of horror podcasts. One of them is Local. This May Hurt a Bit by James Strayer and John C. Myers. They're friends of mine. They are admittedly two white guys talking about horror movies and are very aware that that is the last thing that's needed in the podcast universe. But there you are. That said, they do put together a decent show. It's called This May Hurt a Bit because it's not just a horror podcast, it's a horror series podcast. So they will watch all the movies in an entire horror franchise, even when it gets past the part where it will hurt a bit. Um, I think I went through. I listened to their first three arcs. One of which I watched the movies along with, and boy, that was hard because that was the Friday the 13th movies.
Not a lot of winners in that.
I will stand by that the best one out of that series of movies is the Friday the 13th Part 2. Not the original movie is not a good horror movie. It's an interesting horror movie because the killer is a woman and a mom.
Which is about to become a series from A24.
Great. But the second movie, the sequel, doesn't just have like the character that's the final girl in that sets a bar for what the final girl is. Because it's not just that she survives the movie, she outsmarts the killer with psychology. Fucking psychology. By getting Jason to think that it is the ghost of his dead mother talking to him so that he stops just long enough for someone else to put a machete in him.
Oh, yeah.
Remember this? Yeah, it's really good. And the third one is fun because it's all in 3D.
Right.
So all the dumb effects where you're like, Why is the shot this way? Oh, this was in 3D.
80s 3D.
80s 3D.
Yeah.
The rest of it is garbage, with maybe a special nod to Jason in Space.
Jason X is fire.
Jason X, yeah,
That's pretty good.
with half of the cast of Andromeda.
Yeah. Still one of the best kills in the entire franchise.
Yeah, but that is, if you're looking for a horror podcast, I highly recommend This May Hurt a Bit. The other two that I was listening to was Chainsaw Matinee, which used to be called Netflix and Kill, and then they got
Cease and desist.
no, they didn't get a cease and desist. One of the cast, they're all like Gen Z film school nerds. At least one of them is non-binary, one of them is trans, and so the more Netflix was fuck you trans people, they're like, you know what? Let's change our name. So they changed the name to Chainsaw Matinee. It is fun listening to younger viewers watch older movies and make commentary on it. And it's like, no, you don't understand the context of the time, but they are film school students. They do understand the context of the time in which things were made and still go, this is still shitty regardless. And it's like, you know what? You're right. You are right, kid. And then
There's a difference.
yes, and then there's Girls, Guts, and Giallo, which is another a lot of feminist focused on horror.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, hosted by lesbian vampire Annie Rose.
That's a thought. Nothing against you guys, but it would be interesting to do a podcast with other ladies.
Please do it.
I've only ever podcasted with men.
Yes, that's because
Because men.
because men.
Yep.
Please do. If you want to. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
I don't actually want to do a podcast though. I don't have a thing. Like, first of all, I need a break from podcast.
Sure.
And then later, if I wanted to podcast, I don't have a topic. I'm never passionate about any one thing long enough for it to be my focus, you know?
I'm sorry. I'm immediately trying to workshop your next podcast with you, and that doesn't need to happen.
Well, no, now I kind of want to hear it.
That is the podcast, Denise. You understand?
ADHD hobby roulette with Beanerita.
Yes.
That sounds exhausting.
Like that
And-
Animaniacs episode, was it Wheel of the Turn?
Oh, yeah.
That's Wheel of Morality, though.
Yeah, but this would be Wheel of Hobby, turn.
Which sounds like it's trivial, right? Except it is also highly relatable to whom?
I can think of, well, one other person for sure.
Women with ADHD.
Yes.
I was about to say, I would listen to the
Who-
fuck out of that.
Also can't find their voice amongst a sea of nothing but men talking about bullshit in the podcast universe.
Fuck. Don't make me want to do this podcast, Cable.
I'm just saying
Do it.
you do what you want to do. Like, I am also not going to give in to the peer pressure of like, Merrick is like, so in 6 months when you've got your own Twitch channel, I'm like, will you stop saying that? But at the same time, what happens when that I don't get that itch scratched? So
Yeah.
I did have one other podcast idea years ago, and I never did. And every once in a while, my brain goes to it. It's a couple of them, and they're both Trek related. One of them, I don't know if I could do it because I don't think this way. There's never been a Fashion of Trek podcast.
Really?
are you sure?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And it's inspired by the fact that whenever I watch Trek with Becca, or she'll just text me a picture, she'll be like, bro, look at this fucking dress in the original series. And I was like, has there ever been just the Fashion of Trek? And then the other one is like the total riff on like a Ken Burns style documentary / drunk history, but we treat Trek episodes as if they were real history. That's a lot of work, by the way. That would be a lot of work. But in
Yeah.
my head, it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's, you know what that is? That's a lot of research and
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah, in my head, it's hilarious. I do not have the discipline to do it.
Um, it doesn't not exist.
I mean, okay.
Someone has Trex and the City.
Yep, that's exactly what I was just looking at.
God damn it, that's
Oh,
good.
man.
That's good. Not the account. I haven't looked at the account yet. Maybe it's good, but I don't know. I just Trex and the City.
Yeah.
That's
Trek
good.
in the City for the best in feminist Star Trek comedy. Join Alice Wetterland and Veronica Osorio as they watch Star Trek The Next Generation episode by episode with guests and talk Picard, Troy, Data, Riker, sex, gender, fashion, and more.
There we go. Listen to that show. I don't even know. I don't even know if it's good or not, but it sounds like it should be. It better be. They better be good.
There's
They
also
owe it to us.
Antimatter Pod with Annika and Liz, a Star Trek podcast talking fashion, feminism, subtext, and subspace. Oh, that I like that. That's clever.
Okay.
So, yes.
All right, well,
Well, on that note,
But that doesn't stop you producing something for Becca to talk about the fashion choices and the fashion icons of the 1960s original series. Because god damn,
yeah,
she is correct.
yeah.
just TOS? That's so niche. You're not gonna have enough episodes. Or maybe that's a good thing.
All things should come to an
I
end.
do
That's
like
right.
I do like the idea of a finite podcast.
All things should come to an end.
Like this show.
That's a segue.
I know, that's what I was
So, any parting words besides all things should come to an end?
I was thinking of Q. Your little trek through the stars has come to an end, Mon Capitan. I thought I'd have something poignant, but I'm not, other than... All right, I'm not going to make it. Other than, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for letting me hang out in your ear holes for 20 years. I should probably give a quick shout out. He's never going to listen to this, but Rick Emerson, who gave me a platform fucking 25 years ago when I used to send him angry emails about how he fucked up information about Optimus Prime.
And that somehow endeared you to him.
It did. I think the ability that I also was a good location scout for films.
I'm gonna say that's that Riz.
My,
Obviously, you're doing something
it's
right.
my all spark.
You gotta stop taking T's advice on which slang to use.
Oh, T doesn't talk to me anymore. She's a full-on teenager now.
Oh, gross.
Um, yeah, just
Michael's daughter is 17 years old. When the fuck did that happen? Okay.
We caught a case of the olds.
Greg's daughter can drink and performs like on off Broadway.
Yeah,
We get old, Cable. It just happens,
I know. Yeah.
It happens. There's no stopping it.
Uh,
But yeah, I guess thanks. I wish I had something more poignant, but like that's it.
You don't have to be poignant. Thank you for bringing me on this show. Thank you both for being my friends, and
Well, that's not going on.
I can still thank you for it.
Okay, cool.
Don't tell me what to do, Adon. And thanks to the listeners for tolerating this voice for the last 10 years. And some of you also for becoming my friends.
Exactly.
And for, I don't know, I guess giving a damn about what any of us have to say. Hope it was good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be succinct and saying thank you.
Yeah.
And to live long and prosper.
Yeah, that works. So
Okay. I'm gonna speed run through this.
Oh shit.
Okay.
All right, keep it going.
thank you for 20 plus years. Thank y'all for being my friends.
Mind you, we aren't
Thank you.
dying. Sorry, but go ahead.
Hey, come on. Thank you for the marathon of pain. Thank you for fun with race. Thank you for bringing Keelan. Thank you for bringing on Shandy Ring, getting to meet Ryan, all the other things that I have done coming to Portland. Y'all made it feel awesome. I am beyond proud to call y'all friends, and just all around, thank you for opening up a part of the U.S. that I didn't think that I would like, but I ended up loving. And with that, Geek in the City is the name of my all xylophone Queen tribute band.
Yeah.
Norm, out.
I can't top that.
Bye, y'all. I'm just gonna fade away into the dark here.
No, that's better. Yeah.
Thanks to Kevin for must be the title of my future podcast. Welcome to Must Be Denise. This week, a hardcore banjo theory podcast.
I can
That's
dig
actually a really good title.
It's a good title.
Especially they title this week a podcast about X.
I like that.
Yeah, it's clever. I'm gonna
It
copy
is.
that.
Take it.
I'm gonna copy that. Right, save it. I'm gonna put in a little note.
Put it in your planner.
First, I'm just gonna paste it.
Okay. Well, with all that being said, I'm Aron Duran.
I'm still being Rita.
And I am this version of Cable Hashtami.
And we'll see you out there somewhere.
In the meat space.
End of line. Still takes me forever to fucking turn everything off.
It's okay. We'll just keep holding these poses.
Where's the damn button?
Every freaking week.